Yo! Video games.
What up, dudes? It's Matt here, the resident Smash fan at YoVideogames, and I'm here to talk to you about some of the crazy news that has come out about these titles over the last few days. Now, right before I was packing my bags and heading off to EVO, we got word from Sakurai that he was going to have a live stream reveal of a new character on Monday morning. What made this interesting is that this was retweeted by the director of the Xenoblade series as well, so we all kind of naturally assumed, hey, this is going to be Shulk. I was pretty sure of it myself. Turns out it wasn't. In fact, it was not one, but two Fire Emblem characters, and the one and only Captain Falcon himself. Now, both of these Fire Emblem characters were from Fire Emblem Awakening. One was your own player-created avatar character, and the other was Lucina. Now, everyone, including myself, had assumed Chrom was going to be the Fire Emblem Awakening representative based on the Gematsu leaks. And with the reveal of Lucina and Robin, we know that's not the case any longer. Chrom does show up as a final smash for Robin, but he is not a playable character. Now, does this necessarily completely debunk the Gematsu leak? Well, I don't think so. I think the internet, as usual, has a tendency to look at things in very black and white extremes. Just because this part of the leak didn't come true doesn't necessarily discredit the entire thing. Going back to where I think these leaks originally came from, I truly believe this is probably from some sort of Namco employee, probably not from an employee actually working on the game, but rather someone who just sees the game as he's working on his other titles on a daily or maybe weekly or monthly basis. Taking into account, like, this person may be someone like myself, who's not played Fire Emblem Awakening, and when I see all these characters from the game, I kind of assume, well, it's the main character from Fire Emblem Awakening, but that's really could be three characters, depending on your point of view. Could be Robin, could be Chrom, could be Lucina, so in the end, it's not Chrom, but Lucina instead, and I'm not really too disappointed by that myself. Fire Emblem was becoming sort of a blue-haired swordsman sausage festival, so the fact that we get a blue-haired swordswoman is not too awful, and I really like the fact that Robin has both the male and female avatars and is not just skewed towards one perspective, so that's really nice. I am really jazzed to see the return of Captain Falcon. Of course, the news didn't just stop there. Just a day later, we got word from Corocoro magazine that they were going to be releasing an issue or book on August 12th next month that revealed all the characters and all the stages from the 3DS version of the game. Of course, that also means, since it's all the characters, that's the same roster for both games. So does this possibly mean that the entire Smash Bros. Roster will be known in less than a month? I think it's quite possible. However, it's not a guarantee. For one thing, Corocoro pulled this same stunt back on Super Smash Bros. Brawl, where they promised in a December book to reveal the entire roster for that game then. However, it was only the reveal and details of the previously known cast of characters, not any of the hidden characters that ended up being in Brawl. However, I think times are a little different. Corocoro has spoiled plenty of new Pokemon games, and they spoiled the Mario Kart 8 full roster before that game released as well. I also think Sakurai has a much different viewpoint on hidden characters and spoilers at this point. From the very beginning of Smash Bros. 4's development, he's basically said he doesn't see the point in having any sort of single player or story elements because they'll just be spoiled on YouTube within a day. And I'm sure that probably weighs on his mind when he thinks about the internet at large and the hidden roster as well. And really, at this point, what is the good of having a hidden roster any longer? Sure, it's exciting to see who's in the game, but let's be honest, these are games that cost $60. You probably want to know who you get to play as before you buy the game. It's not so much fun to sort of throw your money in like it's a vending machine and hope you get the right one. With fighting games, I kind of feel like there's no point to having hidden characters because it really just screws with the tournament scene in the long run. Meaning that if you play a game in a tournament, you have to make sure that someone has a full finished save file on their system or memory card or what have you, and it's pointless. And this is something that I know people like Seth Killian have fought against for a long time. And I kind of agree with it. I don't mind having the full roster available at the start. Sure, it gives people some single-player like goals and aims, but really, honestly, at the end of the day, you just want to play the characters that you know are in the game, and you just want to get them as quickly as possible. So that leads back sort of to the Gematsu leaks, and that is, there's only two newcomers that we seem to be aware of. And yeah, I do still believe that this is a very, very, very high possibility that the Gematsu leak is real. And the only two remaining characters are Shulk and the Chorus Men from Rhythm Heaven. Now, Shulk is obviously the one I'm looking forward to the most, and Chorusman is probably going to be a fun kind of what-the-fuck character just like Rob. So that only leaves the veterans left, and there's a lot of veterans from Brawl that we haven't heard anything from. Some of the standout names for me are Wario, Ice Climbers. I don't think Snake's getting in the game. Even Kojima himself doesn't think Snake is going to be in the game. I think we can safely say Snake is not going to be in this game. But we're also missing Earthbound reps such as Ness and Lucas, and there's even rumors that Lucas might be getting the axe. It's getting kind of crazy, and while I believe Shulk and Chorusman are a pretty strong likelihood, I think anyone else who hasn't been announced, it's probably time to start worrying. I don't really think this game's going to have every character ever in any Smash Brothers. I don't think Mewtwo's coming back. I don't think Roy's coming back. I don't think we're going to get a Toon Zelda or anything like that. I think, honestly, like, as far as, like, returning characters, it's probably going to be Ness. There's probably going to be Falco. Maybe not Wolf. We'll probably get Ganondorf back. At least that's my hope. But yeah, the roster of Smash Bros. Is going to probably still be pretty big when all's said and done. But there's a surprising number of veterans that are just not being talked about in any way, shape, or form. People like Ice Climbers, who've been around since the Melee days. But apparently this might all come to an end next month when we get the full roster reveal, allegedly, by Corocoro magazine. Hopefully they're not pulling our leg, or hopefully Sakurai doesn't pull any 11th hour shenanigans and wants to keep some sort of hidden roster still in the game. I honestly, at this point, with the game coming out so soon from now, it's like, just tell me who's in the game. Just tell me who I get to look forward to. Don't make me hope in vain for some character from some franchise or some character from another franchise already in the game and make me hope that I get to play as this character and they're not in it at all. I don't want that anymore. I just really want to just play the game. But looking at the roster we got right now, it's pretty cool. I mean, granted, there's a lot of Mario, there's a lot of Pokemon, and surprisingly right now, there is a lot of Fire Emblem. And I gotta be honest, I really like Fire Emblem, but I really only played the first Game Boy Advance game that came out in North America. I played a little bit of Sacred Stones on the Virtual Console, but yeah, I really don't know much about this series beyond that, so it was kind of interesting to see more of these, you know, beautiful anime characters revealed in the newest trailer, but at the same time, though, I'm just going, who? Who? For me personally, I'm really more of a Shining Force fan. And when I say Shining Force, I mean the original Shining Force games developed by Camelot. None of that new bullshit that they make now that Sega pumps out. That's all garbage. I'm talking original, awesome strategy RPG Shining Force by the creators of Golden Sun. But you probably don't want to hear me drone on and on about it in some Sega Saturn game. I mean, really, I mean, what is this, Saturday or something? Come on now. So while these new characters are definitely welcome, it does seem from what Sakurai has been hinting at that we are coming to the end of the road as far as the roster comes with Smash Bros. And I would say there's a good chance that we're going to see the final roster by mid-August. While I would always appreciate a larger, more diverse cast of characters, I'm also feeling that we are coming near the end and Shulk and Chorusman are probably the only two newcomers left. And you know what, that's okay with me. I think we'll have a good enough game roster, even if it was just those two as the new newcomers. And of course, some returning veterans we haven't seen or heard from yet. So, let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you later on the channels. Later, dudes!